From blueprints to booming businesses, from groundbreaking to grand openings, this is Beyond the Blueprint. Join host Brad Howard as he takes you behind the scenes of growth and development in Mooresville, Lake Norman, and beyond. We're talking with the decision makers, the planners, the visionaries shaping our communities, giving exclusive insight into what happens before, during, and after projects that define our region. The future is being built right now. Let's go beyond the blueprint.
Good Friday afternoon. From blueprints to booming communities, from mill villages and dairy farms to race shops, corporate headquarters, and high-tech manufacturing. This is Beyond the Blueprint. I'm your host, Brad Howard, and I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Today we're staying at home in Iredell County, Mooresville, Troutman, Statesville, Harmony, Lake Norman, and all roads in between, and talking about how Iredell County has become one of Charlotte region's most important employment engines. We'll cover the journey from textiles to motorsports and tourism to corporate headquarters, defense and advanced manufacturing, and a top-ranked agricultural economy that still puts milk and beef on the table across North Carolina. My guest is in the middle of that story every day. She's Jenn, President and CEO of the Iredell County Economic Development Corporation, which is a private public partnership that works with employers like Duke, Lowe's, NGK Ceramics, Besco, Kewanee, Doosan Bobcat, Corvid, Den, Greenworks, and et cetera, if not thousands of small businesses and dairy farms across the county. Jenn, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's start with you. Before we get into the details, most of our listeners may or may not know everything that encompasses economic development. And what does Iredell County Economic Development Corporation do? So help us understand that.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for having me today. It's an exciting time to be in Iredell County. Iredell County Economic Development is a public-private partnership, and we support economic growth and opportunity in Iredell County. We focus really around 6 key pillars, which is supporting our existing industries and helping them grow and thrive and access the resources they need. Business recruitment, generating new opportunities, helping companies navigate real estate, workforce, all the questions that zoning, rezoning, all those questions they have when they're looking at building a site or making a decision. We focus on workforce and talent, which is really both K through 12 all the way through age 64, helping people connect with their career pathway and industries that are relevant or jobs that are relevant to our industry sectors. We focus on marketing the region and Iredell County, really telling our story and all the great things that are here so that people know about our community and why they should invest here. We also focus on product development, which is, land development, getting new buildings and sites built, helping different real estate folks navigate all the different opportunities. And everything that we do is in partnership with someone. So we don't actually sell anything or own anything. We're a service organization, and we work hand in hand with our local municipalities, with our private sector companies, with our partners across the region and the state to deliver on that.
Okay, so you guys are the local boots on the ground that would work once the company is looking and they're identifying the local area with the towns, the county, and the state. Whereas there's other organizations out there, and just to help people understand how everyone works together and versus competing is it used to be the Charlotte Regional Partnership, but the Charlotte Regional Business Alliance and the Economic Partnership of North Carolina. So one is more of a Charlotte region and one is the state. So how do you work? What are those other entities, and how do you fit into that puzzle?
Yeah. So, we work collaboratively. So, there are, the state has a very strong lead generation engine. They have business developers, they have marketing dollars, they have international offices. And they're generating lead opportunities through different trade shows and marketing efforts, mission trips, relationships with site selectors, and brokers, and directly with companies. And so they really are a lead generation source for us, our largest lead generation source in terms of bringing opportunities to us, which then we respond to, which is called a RFI, request for information.
Okay.
And that's where we'll submit sites and labor data and tax information, cost of business, a lot of different questions they ask but generally they're interested in North Carolina. They're interested maybe in industrial property here. It tends to be more manufacturing. And we are responding with potential things that fit that. There's other partners like the Charlotte Regional Alliance. That's a regional collaboration of economic development communities and partners and private sector who really focus on the regional story and research and positioning. We all benefit from having the Charlotte International Airport, which is a big reason why people want to be here. We're a big area for we're a trade center. We have a lot of Fortune 500 companies. And so, Iredell on its own merits is strong, but we're much stronger when we're marketing ourselves as a regional cluster of companies or a regional economic development community.
So I'm going to deviate a little bit. We'll come back there, but just to help drill down a little more. So when people hear about communities competing for a business or for a job, XYZ companies looking for new headquarters, so they would say we want to possibly look in North Carolina. So the larger partnership is focused on getting them to North Carolina. Then you maybe have the larger like the Charlotte organization versus Raleigh has a similar organization and other towns do too. So then they're fighting to get those jobs into their pocket, and then you're competing against all the other counties trying to get them here into Iredell County, and then the cities they can compete for it wherever the business fits best.
Yeah, and I would say some of it is competition, but sometimes it's partnership.
Right.
I would rather them land in the Charlotte region or in North Carolina than for them to land in South Carolina or Georgia or Virginia. So yes, we compete, but we're also sometimes working in partnership with one another.
All right. So that's we'll continue this conversation when we get to the next segment. When we come back, we're going to zoom into what's happening right now, recent expansions, talk about the funding at the Mooresville Business Park East, what the Business Pulse survey is telling us, and how Mooresville, Troutman, Statesville, and Harmony each play a different role in the momentum. Again, I'm Brad Howard. We're joined with Jenn Bozer with the Iredell County Economic Development Corporation. This is Beyond the Blueprint, and we will be right back. Jenn Bozer with the Iredell County Economic Development Corporation. We've been talking about Iredell County and what makes everything so special here that so many folks are looking to relocate their corporations and their lives here. You don't have to look very far to find evidence of momentum here, but we were talking just before we broke about the airport, and I wanted to deviate and talk about the infrastructure and a lot of qualities we have here that are allowing for the success. But I don't want to put any words in your mouth.
That's okay.
So how have you been so successful? What's the secret sauce?
So I think if you look at our location nationally, we sit in the middle of the East Coast of the U.S., and we have access to 70% of the nation's population within a short trucking drive distance or airline distance. I have 2-hour flight. So that positioning, the Southeast in general, has been very attractive because it's low cost. It's growing. People don't want to live in the snow or the heat. They kind of want to live somewhere. We call the Florida folks who move from New York to Florida and they come halfway back. We call them halfbacks. So, I mean, I think that's one thing. But I think Iredell County in the state of North Carolina, we're in a prime position. We're centrally located on 70 and 44. I'm sorry, 77 and 40, which is the crossroads of the state. I mean, you've got two major interstates. You're within a close driving distance to a major Charlotte metro market. But we also have the advantage of being closely located to the Triad and the Hickory MSAs. And so we're an employment center. A lot of people think of us as like a suburban, rural community to Charlotte.
And that's a very important point, and we should touch a little more on that. Is, Mooresville and Iredell County is really the first quantitative employment center when you leave Charlotte.
That's right.
Everything else is a suburb. Maybe drill into that and explain what that means.
Yeah, so I mean, we are touched by 9 counties. Of course, we have the lake as a neighbor too, so that causes some traffic issues. You can't build but so many bridges, but we have 9 counties that touch us, and I know we were going to talk a little bit about Mooresville Business Park East. And some of the work that's been done in here. But, the leaders in this community have been conscious about how do we grow jobs that people can work at, that are high paying, that are, generating gross domestic product that will help us thrive as a community so that we can successfully sustain ourselves and grow. And Mooresville Business Park East, being 1,200 acres, jointly funded by the county and the town over a series of time, run by a nonprofit, but has generated developed 1,200 acres and 4,000 jobs from multiple manufacturers who you see are some of the largest in the county. So, I mean, I think that's just one story, but it's a testament to what Iredell is. We don't solely rely on our neighbors. Actually, our neighbors tend to rely on us for jobs and opportunities.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people are surprised when they come here because they're used to traffic typically just backing up going into the major urban area, into Charlotte. Yeah. Here it would be into Charlotte. And when they get on the roads, they gridlock in all directions because, people are driving from the suburbs of Charlotte to Mooresville to work. Yep. And they're driving from Hickory into...
Or Sherrills Ford.
Or Sherrills Ford and Hickory and Catawba and Lincoln into Mooresville and Troutman and Statesville to work, and vice versa on the other side as well from Rowan and Cabarrus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about the business park and other key investments that the public sector is involved in helping create industrial expansion and business expansion in the county.
Sure. Well, I mean, you've got Mooresville Business Park East. We had a number of lots. We're close to closing on several of them. We have 2 remaining lots left. It's been a success. I think one of the things that makes it successful is that companies have a very short time frame in which they need to make a decision. Mm-hmm. And so having a business park that has the infrastructure ready and available and being able to bring in your own developer and build what you want to build is great. We also have a spec building going up in the Mooresville Business Park East, which is great because that building's about to be delivered Q1, and we have several people looking at it right now. But we also have infrastructure investments that Troutman and Statesville have made. So previously there were a lot of greenfields, mm-hmm. but there weren't a lot of industrial parks. So about the time of COVID, we had a lot of calls coming in asking about sites. I think when 77, the toll roads opened up, all of a sudden people realized there was this northern part of Charlotte
Right.
that, hadn't been touched because nobody came up here when the road was being constructed.
I think they found us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They found us. And so, Statesville and Troutman supported an industrial incentive policy to help get spec development, which basically helps with public infrastructure that benefits all of us. And as a result, we currently have a pipeline of about 15 million square feet of private industrial space being planned or developed or completed across Iredell County, and that's pretty significant.
It is 15 million square feet. And a lot of people don't realize, and we've talked about this before with roads and other public infrastructure, you don't snap your fingers and it happens, especially with more layers of bureaucracy and everything else. By the time you find a piece of land, you zone it, you entitle it, you bring water and sewer and utilities and roads to it, and then you have to, get the site ready, get the pads ready, build the infrastructure after it's permitted. By the time you would wait for all that to happen, the business that's expanding would miss their cycle or have gone somewhere else. So without that proactive engagement that you guys lead the way on, I believe we would still be behind the eight ball here.
Yeah, product is so important, and a lot of people don't see the process behind the entitlement or rezoning or getting the infrastructure to the site. And there is a lot of work that does go into that. Some of the buildings that we're seeing delivered have been in the works for 3 to 4 years. And so, yeah, it's really important though to always have a pipeline. I think one of the things that's really important is residential uses a lot more services than industrial does. But industrial helps pay revenues and generate revenues and keeps your taxes low. They don't use schools, they don't use public service or safety as much, but a residential house uses a whole lot more of that. And not that we should have one or the other. We need to have both and because we need talent.
Right. And the 15 million square feet of industrial, the people working in those jobs have to live somewhere.
That's exactly right.
So our community here does a really good job with everyone communicating. People here typically don't work in a vacuum. We talk, we collaborate, and we try to find ways to make this region better. So for the 15 million square feet, I know that people are talking about where does the housing go for everyone, and we're having to work through that. And it's a mix. You have to have all types of housing. So everyone that works in the community can also live in the community.
That's right.
And because that's how we build a stronger foundation for the next generation.
That's right. And I think it's really important that, not everybody wants to live in a single family home on an acre parcel. Some people have different ideas of what living is like, and then there's the affordability, equation in it. So yeah, it's important. It's a difficult conversation, but it's important to have an idea of where you want density, how you want to tackle it, and we've seen our municipalities tackle it in different ways.
Yeah, and that's something just because of the coverage area here on the show. A lot of the folks up in northern Iredell County and in the more rural areas don't want to see the expansion of the commercial and residential growth the way it is in the far south ends of the county where Charlotte is growing up into this. So one of the conversations is, working together with longer range plans, 2040 plans,
Yep.
and looking where utility infrastructure goes.
Exactly.
Because if you don't run a sewer line there, the odds are that there won't be any development there. So, but then there's a lot of pressure as well for folks that are developing on the fringes of when we were talking about this, I think a little bit earlier, developing around the fringe areas of where utilities are. So that's another issue that needs to be contemplated in the long range plan, is how that's being addressed and dealt with to help drive where residential goes and where commercial goes, where industrial goes.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for the public to know that each community has a land use plan. They update it every so many years, and they really do strive to look at what's comparable, what's supporting each other. So, yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to take a little deeper dive there after the break. We're going to virtually, in our minds, we're going to drive the county. We're going to go from Mooresville to Troutman along 77, with Statesville to Crossroads and up to Harmony, and talk about more specifics and industries in each of the areas and how it all connects with Lake Norman and the broader Charlotte region. I'm Brad Howard. This is Beyond the Blueprint. We're joined by Jenn Bozer with the Iredell County Economic Development Corporation, and we will be right back. And we're back on Beyond the Blueprint. We're joined today by Jenn Bozer, the CEO and president of the Iredell County Economic Development Corporation. We were just talking about infrastructure and the economic growth of Iredell, and we're going to take a drive up 77, town by town, and sort of look at what makes each pocket of the county unique. And the reason we have such economic diversity here with our business community. So we'll start where over 100,000 of our listeners are, about half the county in Mooresville and Troutman along 77. So if we're driving up I-77 from the shores of Lake Norman, where we cross the county line, through Mooresville and up into Troutman, what specific companies and industries do you point out as the anchors? And why do they fit best in that corridor? And how do you use this information when you're looking at the county as a bigger picture? And we'll touch on each segment of the county as we go up.
Yeah, yeah. So I think probably most people know Mooresville because of Lowe's companies. I mean, got a Fortune 100 company who is headquartered here and has been a key driver in a lot of suppliers that provide them with different things. So rugs, lawnmowers. I'm being more specific, but
Right.
a lot of different products that are sold at a home improvement store, and so Lowe's is a huge driver.
And so many of their vendors are located around here as
That's
well.
that's what I meant.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
vendors,
Yeah.
vendors, suppliers or vendors, but then you also have a history of motorsports here. So, when NASCAR used to have the cars made customized, we had a market share of about 50% of the component manufacturers for all of NASCAR. And so we're a big race community.
Mhm.
A lot of those companies, when the next gen car came out, which is where now all of the cars are made the same. So the competition isn't in how well you make the car or innovate it. It's how well the driver is, right?
Right.
And so a lot of those companies had to figure out, okay, well, what are we going to do? We've got to diversify. And so we've seen some incredible change with companies like Roush Yates and Fiberworks and Kozlowski Advanced Manufacturing up north diversify into advanced manufacturing, and they're now making components for aerospace and defense and medical device.
Right.
So,
Because, and a lot of people don't realize this, but in that whole motorsports world, because the drive for competition was so intense, they're used to figuring out things that a large bureaucratic corporation could take years to try to develop a solution. They have to figure it out in a few weeks or a few months.
yeah,
So they're really good at that, and they built their own parts. So I mean, they're truly artists, craftsmen. I mean, the engineers,
innovators,
innovators,
precise,
and they're used to moving
lightweight.
at lightning speed. So so they're the best innovators out there, and we have this huge pool of talent, and that has to be one thing too. Also, I don't know if we mentioned before, driving. Why people want to locate here.
Yeah, no, I think what we've seen is exactly what you said. We have people who are flexible, who understand, who have a really strong work ethic. And part of that comes from our agriculture. I would hire a farmer, someone who worked on a farm at any given time because they work with their hands. They have a strong work ethic. They, they're willing to put in the time and the grit to get the product right. It's a long run. So so yeah, I would say those two. I think as you go north, you start to see more industrial manufacturing. Both in Mooresville, we have some of that in Mooresville, but also Statesville is a heavier manufacturing area and distribution area. We also have a lot of healthcare. We have 2 hospitals here, which is very unique for a county. We have a strong healthcare provider with Piedmont Healthcare, being one of the biggest physician services networks in the Southeast. And then we have agriculture in the north, which actually supplies a lot of our food and beverage, like Southern Distilling and Origin Food makes yogurt. Southern Distilling makes, bourbons. And so we have just like an incredible diversity of industry across the county.
Yeah, and we'd mentioned the economic impact a couple weeks ago. We had Mayor Turner on from Harmony, and we were talking about Southern Distilling and the thousands of acres of Iredell County farmland that they raise crops on to use in their products.
Yeah, and the same with Origin Food. They get their milk from cows. Iredell is one of the biggest, or is the number 1 dairy producing county in North Carolina. A lot of people don't know that. And we have over 1,000 farms. Average size is 126 acres. So we're actually like a really big county. We're 574 square miles. A lot of agriculture. Even if you're down here in Mooresville, you just go a little bit east of downtown Mooresville, and you're in farmland.
Right, and for a lot of the people that may listen that really haven't ventured further north, they leave their house and they get on 77 and go south. They take a right or a left, I guess, depending on which side they're on. But go south. When you cross, and a lot of the listeners are in North Mecklenburg, so when you cross Iredell County and you cross the county line at the lake, really up until exit 36, or just north of 36 at Cornelius Road. So from Cornelius Road south, which is only the bottom 5 miles of the county, there's almost 120,000 people that live there.
That's right.
So we're well over 50%, 60% of the county's population just in that bottom 5 miles.
That's right.
And the county north to south is close to 45, 50.
I would say it's about an hour, right?
Yeah. So it could take you an hour to drive those 5 miles too, depending on what time of day you leave.
Yeah.
But okay.
And I would say when you get to Statesville, most people think you're at the end of the county. You're only halfway.
Yeah, Statesville is the center.
Yeah.
40 and 77 is the midpoint of the county. But two, what I love is when you go north of Statesville, it feels like you're on top of the world.
It does.
And I don't
It's
know what
beautiful.
just the whole feel, and you just feel good. You feel happy. It's a unique sensation. And then there's so much up there. I know we're talking about economic development as far
Yeah.
as corporations, but just I love that area. So now that we're up 77 and we're Troutman to Statesville, what companies and industries I know we talked about a few, but
Yes.
how does it best capture what's happening in that Statesville Troutman area?
I mean, you've got Denso, a lot of automotive. We've got Denso. We've got Bobcat, which makes Bobcats. Most people know that brand. We've got CR Onsrud. I love CR Onsrud. They make machines to make things to make things. I mean,
How cool
talk
is that?
about
Right.
how it's made. I
Right.
mean, Iredell really is a testament of how it's made. There's so many different companies that make things in Iredell. That's just, you ever seen that show, How It's Made?
How it's made,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we could have our own version of that, absolutely.
And one other thing to touch on here before we go to the next break is the airport.
Yeah.
So
We have a new terminal.
the Statesville Airport, the new terminal.
So
I took
pretty.
I took a tour of that. Talk about that expansion. What type of jets? I mean, it's not just small jets. It's
All kinds of people fly in, and I think what's unique about the Statesville Regional Airport, one, it's owned by the city. It's not in Charlotte airspace, so if you want to fly in and out, it's pretty easy. We have a lot of race teams that fly out of there, but we also have a lot of companies that utilize it. And the new terminal, it's beautiful. It's 3 stories. It allows more companies that want to fly in and take advantage of, the gas, the refuel, but it's a place where they want to stop. And I think that's really important for our economy, because we're one of the 10th most, I guess, successful regional airports.
And while we're on the topic there of the airport, before we go to the break, I just want to hit one other point. There was a new announcement, large industrial announcement there.
Yeah.
Do you want to share that?
Do you want to talk about that now?
We'll do that when we come back
Okay.
from the break. So that'll be our tease. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about this big investment that's happening by the Statesville Airport. So Brad Howard, Beyond the Blueprint, with Jenn Bozer of Iredell County Economic Development Corporation, and we'll be right back. And we're back on Beyond the Blueprint. I'm Brad Howard, joined by Jenn Bozer with the Iredell County Economic Development Corporation. And we are talking about Statesville at the moment, and we were talking about the airport, and then a big announcement. I won't steal your thunder, so let's talk about that.
Sure. Yeah. So we, in September, I'm sorry, not September. Well, no, it started not started. It started a long time ago, but the City of Statesville Council approved a rezoning and annexation over 300 acres at the Stamey Farm, just near the airport, for Compass data centers, which is, probably going to be around $1 billion investment and about 1.25 million square feet of data center space.
So $1 billion investment. That has to be the largest, or
Yeah.
if not one of it has to be the largest announcement that the county's made.
It is the largest investment that has been made in Iredell County, in specifically Statesville, in terms of a product development project. So yeah, it's transformational for Statesville, and I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about data centers, but one of the things that we do is we try to really look at the merits of each project and understand who's behind it, what they're asking for, what their design and technology is going to be, what their infrastructure is going to be, and also work with the city to understand what they're capable of accommodating, whether the site is the right site for that kind of use. And I think in Statesville's situation, this was a comparable use for what they wanted there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be transformational
Yep.
for the region. So that's a good segue to talk about a program that you guys developed called Iredell Ready.
Yes.
So one of the things that separates counties that thrive from counties that struggle is the talent and the people. And whether there's a clear pathway from school to work to career, and as Iredell has built something very intentional around that. And when you look at what's happening with Iredell Ready, the talent initiative that your team's been leading, tell us the story. I mean, what kind of impact is it what kind of impact is it having? How did you? I mean, where did the idea come from?
Yeah.
I mean, walk us through conception to where we are today.
Yeah. So, we were sitting with our partners, Iredell Statesville Schools, Mooresville Graded School District, Mitchell Community College, Central Atlanta Workforce Development Board, which is our regional group, us, the chamber, and really just, talking about, what are our challenges and how can we do what we do better. And from that, I think we all realized there's actually a lot of programs that are out there that each organization is focused on, but there is a lack of coordination and awareness, and also engagement with industry. And so what we did is we launched a website that's a one-stop hub, Iredell Ready, that can help a student, a parent, a teacher, a business, a partner navigate everything that there is to offer in Iredell County. And really the goal is to create awareness and engagement opportunities to help an individual pursue a pathway that's going to lead to a career in Iredell County.
So practical use. So I'm in high school right now. Well, I'm not in high school, but say I'm in high school right now.
Yep.
And I know that I want to go into a trade of some sort.
Yep.
So what you've done is created a portal that the businesses and the industries in Iredell County are all on this portal. And as a student in high school or in college, I can go on there and I can pair myself with the opportunity.
Yeah.
How does this work?
Yeah.
How does it help me find employment?
Yeah, so there's a lot more to that. I mean, the portal is one thing. So there's ways to navigate what do careers look like, right? There's dual enrollment. You can take Mitchell classes while you're in high school. It doesn't mean that you go on to college. It may be that you're learning a trade. It may be that you're learning, you're earning a credential. You can do internships. You can do apprenticeships. You can do pre-apprenticeships. We're really focused on work-based learning, career exploration, career awareness opportunities. We start as early as sixth grade. We have a big Career on Wheels event where we bring 2,000 sixth graders and 70 companies to the fairgrounds to introduce them to, the different career opportunities that are available in Iredell. And that's just the beginning. And then in seventh grade and eighth grade and ninth grade, all the way through high school and beyond, we have different focuses that we work with them on to help them, one, figure out what they want to do and what their pathway looks like, but also to figure out what they don't want to do.
Right. And that's a very good point that we need to touch on a little more is, most people believe, or not most people, but there's a lot of the segment believes that you have to have a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
I think it is imperative that we focus on, what all of the opportunities are, because you can leave. I mean, you can go into an apprenticeship and, have never, taken any college debt on and start out very high paid and quickly get into, a career that making, very, very, doing very, very well and not having the student debt obligation and a lot of the other things that come along with that.
That's right. And we have a lot of those opportunities here in our own backyard. The Career and Technical School hosted by Iredell Statesville and partnerships with Mitchell and Mooresville Graded. I mean, you can get your associate's degree before you graduate. You can go into nursing and have some of your credentials met. You can do welding. You can do public safety. You can get your CDL. There's a lot of different pathways out there that don't require a college degree that you can take advantage through the high school and in partnership with the community college and stay here and live in our community and work in our community and get a good paying job. And I think one of the things is, 70% of our students don't go on to college. So we have a responsibility to help them figure out what that pathway looks like and really focus on skills and credentials that are going to be needed in our industries that are not just overnight things, but are things that are important and will pay well.
Right. And also on the flip side of that point for the discussion, um, we were talking about the student finding the job. There are also a lot of employers in Iredell that may not know this program is available.
Yes.
So how do they find out? I guess they go to IredellReady.com as well. But what services are open to them on that
Yeah.
portal?
So I put businesses in three buckets. You have probably most important your recruiting and hiring. You're trying to meet your immediate needs. Probably most important to that too
Right.
is retaining
Yeah,
and training,
retention,
right?
absolutely.
You've got to figure out how to keep your employees, and you need to train them for anything that's, coming up. And then the third piece, probably second to those, is pipeline development. But it's important today to think about who your future pipeline is
Mhm.
and how you're getting involved today to generate a future pipeline because, uh, it may be doing one thing. It may be doing an internship. It may be volunteering in the classroom. It may be showing up at our Career on Wheels event or one of our career fairs. We can meet the company where they want to be, and you don't have to be a large manufacturer. What we really want is all kinds of companies to be involved because we want students to understand you can be an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
You can be a small business. You can be, a balloon pilot. You can be
It could be anything
you can be
wanna be.
anything you want to be, and we want to provide mentorship and that direct conversation with an employer to help them envision how do I get there.
And one other group we didn't talk about. So we talked about the students trying to find a way to the job, and then we talked about the employer. What about the educators in the schools? I know we did talk about Iredell Statesville in the public setting, but there's also a lot of charter schools and private schools in the county. Are they engaged, or if they're not, is there a way for them to become engaged?
Yeah, so I mean, we've started right now with our public school systems with some of our initiatives, but we're not necessarily like, hey, we don't want to help our charters or we don't want our
Right.
private. We recognize everybody has a role in this, and I think there are partnerships through Crosby Scholars that we support partners. I think for us, it's about looking at the bigger picture and helping people navigate the different resources that are out there for them and working with the employers to figure out how they want to engage with us. So we're kind of agnostic when it comes to that. It's more about, how do we help somebody chart their path?
And the bigger thing here is you're bringing everyone together to try to help everybody find the solution for the next step of their life, and for the employer to find the workforce that they need and to grow the talent base so that they can continue to grow and expand and be a very integral part of our local community.
That's right. And I think so much of it is about awareness and engagement. It's about understanding what is out there. For teachers, a lot of it is understanding what the jobs look like. So when they're teaching the curriculum in the classroom, they can relate it back to, industry.
To the real world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's the
To
real
help
world.
the kids, put the pieces together.
Exactly.
Real quick on that, and we'll wrap here for the day. A couple key announcements that have happened that you've had over this year. What are some of the biggest, other than the data center? We
Yeah,
talked about
that was a big one. We recently Dean is a German company that is a manufacturer. They're going to be building a campus in Mooresville Business Park East. We've seen Sherwin-Williams is opening up their facility. They have a distribution facility in Larkin. They're going to 800,000 square feet, so pretty big. Carolina Beverage has expanded into the full 730,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yeah, local company that's continued to grow, and we're just
I remember when
excited
they
about them.
started. Yeah. It's
Yeah, so those are a couple.
very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Jen. Thank you for taking the time to join us today and helping us connect the dots between the South and the North, between the mill villages, the race shops, lakefront neighborhoods, hospitals, factories, and fields. Thank you for showing us how they all add up to create one of North Carolina's most diverse and dynamic county economies in the state. And to our listeners, whether you're on the lake or in town, on a plant floor or in a clinic, on a tractor or participating in one of the businesses from textiles to technology and pastures to high-performance labs, the decisions you guys are making will make it a strong foundation for the next generation. Jenn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. I'm Brad Howard. This is Beyond the Blueprint. I hope everyone has an amazing day, and we will see you next Friday at 3.